So, welcome to this episode of the Willingdon on Mission podcast. My name is John. I'm one of the pastors at Willingdon, and today it's the third of four episodes that we get a chance to meet and talk with Jaclyn Tulak. Hey, Jaclyn.
Hello, John.
So if those of you watching haven't caught the first two episodes, please do. They're really great. We get to hear some of Jaclyn's backstory and then about her ministry with Operation Mobilization. One of the big overarching realities and themes is that Jaclyn's an artist. God has gifted her with incredible artistic skill. And so for this episode, I actually want to just dive into that kind of um, category of conversation and talk about some of the things around being an artist. And but first, how did you discover that God has gifted you as an artist?
Um, it's so funny because I've just always done it.
Yep.
Um, I think I just had a desire and a passion to create. I loved I grew up on Disney.
Mhm.
The old school ones like The Lion King was and 101 Dalmatians and those are all my favorites. So I just really loved those and I just started making my own characters and my own stories and just pursued it because I was interested. Um, I think that's probably it's such a short answer, but
That's just
some
the truth.
it's just the truth.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So how have you fostered your skills and gifts?
Like when I was in high school, I pursued um just making things. And then afterward too, I just kept making. I loved watching tutorials online and just looking for any ways that I could learn. Um, Looking at great artists is one way to grow, looking at them and um, yeah, just figuring out how they did the things that they did. Um, Almost critically analyzing art and just looking how did they do the shadows and then trying to do it. Like how did they draw this? And then again, just trying to understand how they did it. I did go to animation school for 2 years. Um, it's interesting though because they didn't teach me how to draw. They taught me it was more technical work there. You had to go into the program knowing how to draw or having some grasp of the fundamentals. And a lot of the program was just honing your skills into um, the industry of animation. So I did learn how to animate there. Um, I do think it honed my composition skills. It helped me get more confident in my line work. I think just having, again, great artists who were around me in community, um, and teachers who had worked in the industry before, give their feedback and criticism and encouragement too of pieces that we'd made was really helpful. Um, so I think that's a big thing is that the life of an artist can look isolating, but I think to make great art and to make just good art, you need to be living. And that was one thing they told us in our school as well was you need to get out and have a life and surround yourself with people who also create. Um, and people who don't create too, because they can give you a lot of ideas.
Mhm.
Um, I think being open to feedback and criticism is one thing. That's a big part of detaching your identity from your art, but still letting your identity come through your art. And so it's just a very interesting it's a very interesting dynamic where you're attached to it, but I think in order to grow, you need to be able to change what you've made as well if something's just not working. Um and then also know the ones that, learn how to say no to some feedback too, because sometimes you do know what you want to show and people will have their ideas. And I think if you're confident that you've expressed what you want to express, and I mean,
Yeah, it's awesome. So
it's okay.
you use some words in there that I'm like, okay, I have no idea what you're talking about, but composition and line skills or something.
Oh yeah.
It's Good. You don't need to explain them, but I'm interested to know if there's somebody watching this thing that has some artistic skill or just has an inkling of, okay, this could be one of the ways that God has wired me or or might invite me to invest my life. What would you like to say to them about using their skills and gifts for God's glory?
Um, I think one thing I would say is sometimes you just need to take a step. Um, I think seek God in it and then try something. I think in actively praying, where you pray, you take an action, and you see what happens, is a way that we do determine where God is leading us. Um, and it can be scary sometimes because there can be uncertainty, or there might be that feeling of like, what if I fail? But I think, I mean, like fear, if fear stops you, like there's going to be so many things that you don't do, that you don't try. Um, so I think I'd really encourage that. I think also just realizing like there's always going to be people who are better than you,
Mm,
but they aren't like they aren't threats. Don't see them as threats. See them as people you can learn from. Um, even try and like connect with. Like
mm,
if you're in a forum or like if you're online and you see someone making great art, comment on it. Like talk to them because a lot of artists are really willing to talk to people who are genuinely interested.
mm,
Um, I think also um I would say just serve. And this is, I mean, it's kind of maybe it's out of left field for the topic of the conversation, but um, what as I've been involved in these ministries, some of my favorite ministries too have been like I was very involved with the youth ministry in Sycamoose when I was living there for a number of years. Um, and I just looked for ways to serve in the church. And I didn't do art there, but I think even in that, you see the needs of the people around you. You know better how to reach people. And I think, again, it's part of living. Like, as you live and engage with the local church, I think that when you go to make your art, if that's a way that you want to express truth to people, I think knowing the struggles that people are going through, having an audience to actually like show it to, um, I mean, we can't live without that community too. Um, and I think also remembering that Christ asks for you to work to like to his glory. You don't need to be perfect to serve him with the things that you create. Um, I think as you strive for excellence, that's honoring to God. Um, And so I think I would encourage you to strive to excellence, but also don't be afraid to show people where you're at because we're never going to reach perfection.
mhm, mhm.
Um, and don't limit yourself to what you think you need to be for God to use you. Because I hardly knew how to draw people when I started drawing the Gospel of Mark.
Okay.
But I took that step of courage and I'm like, well, if they think I can do it, if God's put me in this place, then I better get to learn how to draw people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, like I knew, but I wasn't confident in it. So I think I would say, like, don't let your lack of confidence stop you from doing something that you really sense that God is leading you into.
So here's a question that I didn't prep you for,
Oh,
but it just came to mind. Uh, so one of the things about art appreciation is that it's actually really quite subjective, right?
yeah,
And so there's going to be some people that um, well, each artist has a different eye and a different sort of sense of what they want to produce, but then each person that observes that art also has a different eye and receives it differently. Um, how do you how do you deal with sort of the subjectiveness of artistic appreciation, I guess?
yeah. I guess I like haven't really worried about it too much.
Mhm.
Just because I know like for everyone who doesn't receive it, there's probably somebody who will.
Yeah.
Um, And there were like, I mean, some of my classmates too, like they made weird things. But I also know that the ones who made weird things thought that I made mine too pretty. And so it was that like again, it was that taste. And I think knowing that like I have a taste in art um has helped me to realize like not everybody's gonna like the things that I make. Um but I just keep making it.
Yeah, sure.
Um yeah, I don't know if that answers the
Yeah, yeah,
question,
it does.
but
It was just a bit of a
yeah,
conversation that was flowing through my head, so I thought I'd say it out loud. Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
think yeah, well, another thought that I had about what I'd say to young artists too is if you want to draw things that are um, like to lead people to God, art is definitely like a teaching tool. Like I view it as that, which is why I've put so much effort into um, like honing it and taking it very seriously. Um, and so just like people who like pastors who preach often say like you have to let the scriptures impact you before you can teach it. I think when you're drawing, uh, you need to give yourself breaks and some leeway to have time to let the scriptures impact you. When I was doing the Gospel of Mark in the chapters when I was working on Jesus' crucifixion, um, I took a lot of time just to like process that and gave myself space to let it affect me, even if it means crying.
sure.
Um, and yeah, let God change you too through the things that you make.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
that's great. Thank you. So I'm going to draw this episode to a close. Thanks for just giving us some of your reflections on these topics. Super helpful. And for those of you um, who might have an inkling that art is something in your if in your docket of things that the Lord might use. If you want to get in touch with Jaclyn, find me and I'll put you in touch. And I'm sure she would. I didn't ask you if that was okay, but I'm sure
Oh
she
yeah.
would love to have conversations. So, yeah, thanks, Jaclyn. So for those of you watching, this is the third of four and of this little series of episodes. So I encourage you to catch the last one when it comes out. God bless you all.
God bless you.